I'm Courtney. If you're just joining me for the first time, I recommend if you don't have a yoga block, which is absolutely fine, grab a couple books, nice thick books, and we can use them instead of blocks. So if you don't have a block, grab a couple books. Or I also thought of this recently. You have an Uno tin. Uno makes a good block too. Saw this. That could be helpful. Anything that can kind of prop you up. Maybe a puzzle box. Let's see. This one's a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger, but we can put our hands there. So anything that you can kind of use as a block instead. All right. Are we ready to roll? I'm going to pin myself to the top. All right. So we are going to get started seated. All righty. So let's find a comfortable seat. And that could be sitting on the floor crisscross. It could be with legs out. It can also be sitting on your book or your block, whatever you have. Just finding a comfortable seat. And I like to sit on something to just find some length in my low back. And when you're ready, just gently closing the eyes. Taking a full breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. We'll do two more just like that. Big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more nice big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Letting go of your day, maybe of the weekend, letting go of anything that's not serving you right in this moment, giving yourself permission to be here. And as you slow your breath down, feel that breath moving in and out through the nose. With each exhalation, see if you can start to soften all the muscles in the face. Allow the shoulders to slide away from the ears. And seeing what it would feel like to put a little more weight in the back side of your seat, just slightly. We tend to shift forward a little bit, or at least I do in my body. So I find if I shift back a little bit, I find a little bit more of my center, and then I can grow the crown of my head up towards the sky. And on your next exhalation, see if you can do a little slight wrap of the shoulder blades around the spine to open up the heart center, creating a little more space there. And then really deepening the breath so you can feel the chest expand, the ribs expand, the belly expand, and then feeling everything contract. Seeing if your inhale can be 3 or more counts. And then your exhale, 5 or more counts. Relaxing the jaw. Relaxing the eyes. As the thoughts start to come up, just bring your awareness back to your breath. You may be setting an intention for your practice. Whatever that intention needs to be for you. Letting that intention land right on your heart. Maybe bringing both hands across the heart. Sitting up a little bit taller, breathing a little bit deeper. And sealing that intention with a full deep breath in. And a full breath out. And letting the hands float back down. When you're ready, just gently opening the eyes, and we're going to move right on to our back to start. And taking your time to get there. Rolling onto the back. Finding yourself on your back and then lengthening the legs nice and long. We're going to come into banana pose, one of my favorite poses, a really great one to do in bed. So roll your shoulders away from your ears and then start to walk your heels over to the right corner of your mat. We'll take the left ankle on top of the right ankle. So without lifting this left shoulder up, we want to reach the arms in the same direction. So the left shoulder wants to start to lift up. See if you can really glue that left shoulder down onto the mat. Grab a hold of your left wrist with your right hand, and then we look like a banana. So gazing over the right shoulder, and we want to try to glue this left side body down onto the mat to create all that space along the left side body. Looking over the shoulder, breathing here. Each exhalation lengthens that left arm overhead just a little bit more, releases the left hip down onto the ground, breathing here. One last breath. And then when you're ready, we'll retrace our steps by bringing the torso back, relaxing the arms, and then walking the feet back. So pausing in center for just a second to notice the difference between left and right sides. And then when you're ready, we'll walk the heels to the left corner of the mat. Right ankle crosses on top of the left. And then we'll reach the arms and the shoulders in the same direction, over to the left, grabbing a hold of the right wrist. And then the gaze is down by your left shoulder, right shoulder gluing to the mat, working that right hip down. Notice if your ribs started to come out. We want to try to lower the ribs down, lower the back down as much as possible, breathing into the right side. Each exhalation finds a little more length in that side body. One last breath here. And then we'll retrace our steps, bringing the shoulders, the torso back, then bringing the legs back to center. Taking a full breath in. And as you exhale, bring the knees in towards the chest, squeeze the knees in, squeeze. And then notice if your tailbone started to lift up, we'll lower that tailbone back down onto the mat. Releasing the back of the neck by tucking the chin slightly, so there should be a space between the back of your neck and your mat. Holding onto the knees, and we'll just start to trace that sacrum, that flat bone at the base of the spine, breathing here. You roll the knees around. And seeing if you can link your movement with breath. And then we'll move in the opposite direction. And then one more around. We'll pause in center, placing both feet down, hip distance apart. Roll the shoulders away from the ears, and the palms are down. And then check in with your ribs. Make sure they're knitted together and drop that bottom rib down. Press your feet into the ground and start to lift your hips up for a bridge. We're just warming up. So notice if the knees start to want to go away from each other. We're going to keep them in line with the ankles. Press the feet into the ground to lift the hips up skyward. Breathing here. And then start to lower one vertebrae at a time. Lowering, lowering, all the way down. Taking one more. Press the feet into the ground to lift the hips up skyward. Breathing. Noticing those knees, keep them stacked over the ankles, press the feet and lift the hips. Start to lower one vertebrae down at a time. And then when you're ready, we'll shoot those legs skyward. And you can bend the knees as much as you need to. Want to check in with your ribs. I talk a lot about the ribs. Want to make sure that the ribs are knitted together and the the back is on the mat. So without moving your ribs or your back, we'll start to point your toes and draw a circle on the ceiling. So notice how big you can make your circle without lifting your back. So if you start to lift your back, your circle is too big. Just make it a little bit smaller. So you should feel this a little bit in the core, maybe. Breathing. Notice if you started to strain your neck and your shoulders. And then we'll go in the opposite direction. Inhaling as you reach out, and then exhaling as you bring them back towards you. Squeezing those legs together. Keep those ribs still and tucked. 2 more. And then when you're ready, pausing. We'll bring one knee in towards the chest and let the other leg either come down long or keep that left foot flat. So keeping the right knee in towards the chest, or start to work that right knee towards your right armpit, breathing into the hip. Notice the ribs when you keep them down. Breathing here. And then taking that right knee, we're going to work it all the way across the body, keeping the right shoulder on the mat. And again, just warming up. So this doesn't have to be really big. That right arm can come wide. Look over your right shoulder. Breathe. And then unwind the spine. Shoot that right leg skyward. Flex the foot. And on your exhale, we'll let it flow all the way down. Drawing the left knee in towards the chest, squeeze it in. And if you want a little more in the hip, you can start to reach that left knee towards your left armpit, breathing into the hip. You can also bring that right foot flat on this side. You may have to on one side and not the other, and that is 100% fine. Breathing into the hip, relaxing the face, neck, and shoulders. Just letting gravity in your arms do the work for the hip. Pain is always a sign to stop. We're going to take that left knee across the body. Left arm comes wide. Bring it across the body. Look over the left shoulder. Breathing here. The left knee does not have to touch the ground. We're going to just let it hang there for just a breath or two. And then when you're ready, unwinding. Reaching that leg skyward, flex the foot like you're going to step on the ceiling, and we'll let it flow all the way down. Both knees come in, cross your ankles, grab your feet, take a full breath in. As you exhale, we're going to roll right up and over onto hands and knees. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. When you're ready, we'll do a few cats and cows. Inhale to drop the belly down, open up the heart, the chest, roll those shoulders back, and then exhale, press away from the palms, from the tops of the feet, tuck the chin, open up the back of the neck. A few more with your own breath. Inhaling to drop, and then exhaling to round. And if you feel like you want, you can also rock the shoulders a little side to side, breathing into those side bodies a little bit more. Doing whatever feels good. You can always tuck the toes to get into the low back a little bit more, to get into the feet a little bit more. And then when you're ready, finding your neutral spine, tuck the chin just slightly to reach the crown of the head and the tailbone in opposite directions. Engage your core, draw the navel up behind the rib cage. We're going to reach the right leg back and up. So it can be a millimeter off of the ground, or it can be hip height, level with the hip, or lower. We're gonna engage that right leg. Notice when you lift, if the belly starts to come down and the ribs start to go out, we're gonna keep that all tight. Engage that back leg and staying here or reaching left arm up next to left ear. Taking a full breath in and a full breath out. We're doing a little bit of opposite work. This is great for balance, good for using both sides of your brain at the same time. Also good for your core. Take a full breath in if you want to go a little bit further. Exhale, bring your elbow to your knee. Squeeze and round the spine. Tuck the chin. Inhale to lengthen out. Reach. Exhale to round. Inhale to reach. Last one. Exhale to round. And then inhale to reach out. Place the left hand down, right knee down. We'll thread the needle with the right arm. The right arm sweeps open wide, big, exaggerated stretch up. Exhale as you thread it through. So the right arm comes through the left, lower down, palm is skyward. Start to lower down on your right shoulder, right ear. Option to bring your book, Uno cards, whatever you have underneath your head. You can walk that left arm out, working the left shoulder down to open up the right shoulder. Breathing here. And then we'll retrace our steps, bringing the left hand under the left shoulder. Inhale to rise up, coming back to your tabletop. And then when you're ready, we'll reach that left leg back this time. So reach it back, find some length, find your stair, little spot to stare at on your mat, engage the core, and then start to lift. Only lifting as high as you can without dropping the belly down. And not higher than the hips. Reaching right arm next to right ear. Tuck the chin slightly to open up the back of the neck, to reach the crown of the head with the fingertips. Breathing here. Can stay here or exhale, start to round. Squeeze the air out from the bottom of the belly. Tuck the chin. Inhale, reach. Exhale, round. Inhale to reach. Exhale to round. One more. Reach it long. Right hand down, left knee down. We'll thread the needle on the second side. So left arm sweeps open wide, big, exaggerated stretch, should feel good. Exhale to thread it through, palm faces skyward. Lower down on left shoulder, left ear. And then maybe walking that right arm out, if it feels okay. Breathing into the left shoulder. And then when you're ready, we'll retrace our steps. Right hand comes under right shoulder. Inhale to sweep it open wide. Exhale to plant the hands down. Big toes touch, knees come nice and wide. I just want to go over child's pose really quick. Sit back onto the heels. Options for child's pose. You can be here. Forehead to the ground, heart melts through, hips are opening. You can take a book or a block under the forehead, melt here. If you're feeling it in your knees, feet, ankles, sit on your book or your block. That could help. And then melt here. Or you can always sit on your bottom, feet come nice and wide. And working the hips open, heart melts through here. Always take a block. You can reach it to be there in your child's pose. So finding something that works for you, pausing in your child's pose, whatever it might look like today. Last 2 rounds of breath. And then when you're ready, inhale to rise up, knees under hips, hands under shoulders, tuck the toes, and we'll press back for a first downward facing dog. When you arrive, bending a knee and straightening a knee, rolling high on the toes and rolling back. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Shake the head yes and shake the head no. Start to warm up that dog. You can shift all the weight to one side and then all the weight to the other side. And then looking at the hands, we'll start to walk forward, heel to toe, the slowest walk you've ever been on. Nice and slow to the top. And then hanging heavy here. If folding forward makes you feel lightheaded, you can always come to your flat back, elbows to thighs or hands to thighs, or stand straight up. If you love it, shake the head yes, shake the head no. Maybe sway side to side, grabbing opposite elbow. Releasing the arms down, and we'll do a reverse swan dive up. Press your feet into the ground, sweep the arms open wide, full breath, palms touch overhead. And then exhale your hands to heart center and pause. Taking a full breath. And then releasing the arms down. When you're ready, we're going to do a little bit of footwork, just a little bit, to warm up the feet. So hands on the hips, I prefer, but wherever you want to put them. Just shifting the weight onto the ball of the right foot and start to work that foot and ankle. A little bit there. We'll go in both directions. Good. And then switch over to the other foot. And both directions. And then shifting the weight all the way to the left foot, we'll pick up the right foot and scrunch the toes up. And relax the toes. Scrunch them up and relax them out. And then switch. The feet are really important, especially right now, because we're not feeling grounded. Or maybe you are, but I certainly am not. So the feet keep us grounded. They also carry your body weight all day. So important to keep them healthy. When you're ready, we're going to get a little bit of knee action going. Pick up one leg just hinging from the knee. So try not to swing the whole leg here, just the knee. And then we'll switch sides. Just moving, hinging from the knee. 2, and 1. Good. Then we'll bring those feet still hip distance apart, or maybe you like them together. You could try both. Hands to the hips. We're going to do some nice big hip circles all the way around. This can be really big, or maybe it's a little bit smaller today. Still breathing. And then we'll move in the opposite direction. And we're going to get flowing a little bit. A little bit of flow. A little bit of back bends. One more. Great. We'll bring the feet, ankles to touch, arms to the sides for Tadasana. Big breath, full breath in. And a full breath out. And when you're ready, inhale to sweep the arms open wide, full breath, palms touch, heart lifts. Exhale, bowing forward all the way down. Inhale for a flat back, nice long spine. Exhale to fold. We'll bring our blocks to the front of the mat if you have them. And we're going to step back to downward facing dog to start. On your next inhale, ride the breath forward for plank. We'll lower the knees, Bringing the chin and chest to the mat. Inhale for a baby cobra. And then exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. That's the modified vinyasa. You're always welcome to do that. Right leg reaches high. And then we'll step right foot all the way up in between the hands. It's okay if you have to use your hand to get it up there, but we're gonna work that right knee over the right ankle. Blocks are nice here. Pausing, building your foundation first. So feet are hip distance apart. If they're in a line, you're gonna feel like you're on a tightrope. Hip distance apart. Back leg is really strong. And when you're ready, inhale to rise up. So my left heel is lifted. Exhale, settle in. Inhale, start to open up the heart, the chest. We're gonna bring the arms to cactus arms. Open up the throat a little bit. And then exhale to curve forward. See if you can bring your elbows towards one another. Inhale, open up the heart, the chest, the throat. Exhale, start to round the spine, working those elbows together. They might not touch, that's okay. Inhale, last one, open it up. Exhale, round. Inhale, open, reach those arms skyward, and then open up to Virabhadrasana 2. So my left heel spins down. My right knee and ankle are in a line. My hips and shoulders are in a square. Arms come wide, shooting the energy from the heart center all the way to the fingertips. Imagining splitting your mat in half with your feet. Taking a full breath in and a full breath out. Flipping the right palm skyward. Inhale to reverse your warrior, reaching up, 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 keeping all this length in this low back. Imagining a string attached to that right arm, lengthening you up. And then exhale, bring the elbow to thigh, reaching left fingertips overhead so that you're beautiful diagonal, left fingertips to left heel. Spin the heart open up towards the sky. Breathe. And then inhale to rise up, hit your warrior 2. Exhale, windmill or cartwheel the hands all the way down. Spin the left heel skyward, stepping back, plank. If you'd like to move through your vinyasa, you can, or scoot right back to downward facing dog. A full vinyasa chaturanga is halfway down. Inhale, pelvis stays off the ground. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a full breath in and a full breath out. Knit those ribs together. Reach the tushy up towards the sky. Reaching left leg skyward, kneecap facing down towards your mat. I know that's challenging. It is for me at least. And then step that left foot up in between the hands. Find your feet hip distance apart, and then when you're ready, rise up. You can always drop that right knee down and do everything that we just did on the right knee. When you're ready, exhale to settle. Inhale, cactus arms, open heart, chest. Exhale to round, work those elbows towards one another. Inhale, open, expand. Exhale to round. Inhale, open. Exhale to round. Inhale to open. Reaching arms skyward. We'll spin open wide, Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. And then I'm just gonna shift back this way so that my back isn't to you. Settling in your warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Hip, knee, ankle, toes. Shoot the energy from the heart. And you can see if you're looking at me, I was already tilted this way. I wanna bring my shoulders over my hips. And breathe. Gazing out over left middle finger. Flip the left palm skyward. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Lengthening up, up, up. Exhale, elbow to thigh, fingertips over. Beautiful diagonal from right fingertips to right heel. So not putting too much pressure on this left thigh. I know it's easy to kind of hang there. See, doing that little test to see if you can lift the elbow. And then inhale to reach open wide. Windmill or cartwheel those hands all the way down. Right heel skyward. Left foot to meet it. Vinyasa or not. Downward facing dog. Taking a full breath in. And a full breath out. Gazing at the hands, walk or jump the tootsies to the top. Inhale for your flat back, nice long spine. Exhale to fold. Inhale to sweep open wide, big breath, palms touch, heart and lips. Exhale, bowing forward all the way down. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale, riding breath forward for plank, lower knees, lower belly, all the way onto the mat. Pausing here. Bringing hands under forehead. I'm going to flip the other way. Bringing hands under forehead, big toes to touch, and relax. Checking in with your breath, with your heart. And then when you're ready, we're going to come up into Sphinx. Bring your feet as wide as the mat or wider. The goal here is to relax the legs and the tushy. So when you're ready, we'll come propped up on the elbows. Elbows and forearms. So my elbows are about under my shoulders. Fingers are spread wide. Tushy is relaxed. Legs are wide. And then a little traction, working the elbows back, pulling the heart through, drawing the shoulders away from the ears, breathing here. Maybe close the eyes. And then when you're ready, if you want to get into the neck and shoulders a little bit, you can bring the chin down towards the chest, roll the head side to side. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly start to release back down, cheek to the mat. Big toes can touch. Relax. We're doing a lot of heart opening stuff because of everything that's going on right now. We have a lot of anxiety. We open up the heart to dissipate the anxiety or to aid in it. Might not take it all the way away, but it'll help. And then when you're ready, coming back, we'll bring those legs together. Unless you have a sensitive low back, you can bring those legs a little bit wider. If you don't, squeeze them together. Coming into our full Cobra. So ground the toenails down into the mat and engage the legs so the knees start to pop up off the mat. Elbows to ribs. Hands to mid ribs. Elbows come tight. Find length in the neck. Inhale, press the feet into the ground to start to rise up. Watch your shoulders. Keep them away from the ears. Breathing here. Open up the heart and the chest. Exhale, start to roll it down. Taking one more. Inhale, press the feet into the ground to lift the heart up. Shoulders away from the ears. Maybe you look over your left shoulder and your right shoulder. Breathing here. And then when you're ready, we'll start to lower it down all the way. Tuck the toes, press all the way back to your downward facing dog. Take a big old breath in and a big old breath out. Start to walk the feet up to the hands. And when you're ready, rounding up the spine. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears. Let them slide down the back. Getting ready for dancer's pose. So if you want, you can always hold on to something for dancer's pose. When you're ready, right arms come skyward. We're stepping right foot forward. So if you want to go against a wall, you could just bring your shoulder. I don't really have a great wall in here, but you could always just put your shoulder against the wall to kind of hold. Or you could bring your hand to the wall. Those are kind of the options. Bring left hand to the outside of that left foot. You can stay right here. Squeeze those thighs together. You want to find something that's not moving, your drishti. It's going to help you stay balanced. And then before we go any further, I want you to check in with your right foot. Draw the energy up through the sole of the foot. Relax the toes. Engage this right leg, and then draw the navel up behind the rib cage. Reach those fingertips skyward, or if you're holding on to something, fire up that palm. Inhale, start to reach forward a little bit. Notice if the knee starts to want to go out. We're going to try to keep that in. Tuck it in, breathe. Staying right here, or maybe starting to kick that foot into the hand a little bit, breathing. Still the tummy is tight. 5, 4, 3, 2, inhale to lift, and then lower the foot, windmill the arms, left arm comes skyward. We're stepping left foot forward this time, so we're gonna grab the right foot, I'll come this way, we'll grab the right hand to the outside of the right foot. Find your drishti, fire up that left leg. Inhale, maybe you start to lean forward or you stay right here. This certainly is balancing. Or if you want to go further, we're starting to reach. Find your stair, Keep the knee in line with the hip. Breathe. Engage the core. And then maybe we start to kick that foot up into the hand. For 5, 4, 3, 2, inhale to stand. Exhale, windmill the hands down. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to dive down. Shaking the head, yes. And shaking the head, no. And then when you're ready, we'll lower down onto the seat and lengthen the legs out nice and long. Right out in front. Pulling the flesh from the sit bones, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale to rise up. Exhale to lengthen out over the legs. Doesn't matter where the hands fall. They could fall right on the tops of the thighs. Whatever your forward fold looks like, let's focus on relaxing into this posture as opposed to striving and reaching for the toes. We'll see if we can just relax here. You can always, and look, my knees are so bent here to keep my low back nice and long. You can always try to put a block or a book under the forehead. Seeing if you can relax here. Maybe you bring your hands under your forehead. You can make fists. Just trying to surrender here. Relaxing the feet a little bit. And then when you're ready, starting to rise up. We'll bring the knees. Let's bring one leg out, one foot in. Get a little bit of opening at the hips. Grounding the sit bones down. Option to put something under this thigh or knee. Little extra support there. Lifting up. And then exhale to reach over. Little spin of the heart up towards the sky. Breathing into the hips. Inhaling to rise up. We'll take right arm across the body, so grabbing your left knee. Inhale to lift, exhale to twist. You can stay here or press your left hand into the ground and lift the hips up, opening up hips, heart, maybe the throat. And then exhale to lower. And we'll switch it out. Left leg comes out, right foot comes in. Option. Again, you may need it on one side, not the other. Not a big deal. Inhale, exhale to reach over. Anchoring both sit bones evenly into the ground. And then inhale to lift. Left arm comes across the body. Grab a hold of that knee. Exhale to twist. And then you can press that right hand into the ground to lift the hips up. When I teach kids, we call this rainbow pose. I have no idea what it's really called. Breathing. And then we'll release on down. If you want, you can bring soles of the feet together. Another option would be to bring blocks or books underneath the knees here. Mine aren't even, but you can get the idea. If you want less of a stretch, push those feet away. More, bring them close. And then even more, if you have really flexible hips, you can start to open those feet up like a book. Or you can start to bow forward, breathing, using those those elbows to press the knees out. Pain is definitely a sign to stop. And thinking more about using your exhale to settle and relax the hips. Really using your breath here. And then when you're ready, starting to lift up. Close those knees like a book, squeeze and tight. Forehead towards your knees. Draw the shoulders away, grow taller. And then lifting up, rolling back onto the spine. We'll rock and roll. If you like to rock and roll, you can do it a few times. If you don't like it, you can just roll onto the back. And then when you're ready, go ahead and lay flat onto the back. Bringing those feet as wide as your mat. Lower those ribs down. Little windshield wiper of the knees, side to side. Arms can come wide. And walk those feet back to hip distance apart. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. We're going to do one more bridge together. We'll notice the difference between the first two and the last one, and we'll also throw in a shoulder opener for the last one if you want to do it. Pressing the feet into the ground to lift your hips up towards the sky. You can stay right here, or start to roll the shoulders under so that you can interlace your fingers and reach your knuckles down towards your heels. Pressing the feet to lift the hips. And then check in with those knees. You want to make sure they're stacked over the ankles. Breathing. Relax the toes, relax the jaw. Pressing and lifting. And then when you're ready, we'll retrace those steps. Relax the arms out and we'll roll the spine down. Then bring those feet wide again, as wide as your mat. One more windshield wiper knees. Let the knees fall in towards one another. Arms come wide in a cactus, palms face skyward. Walking those feet back. And we'll squeeze the knees in towards the chest one last time. Turn yourself into a little tiny ball. Breathe. And on your next exhale, we'll let everything melt down. Options for Shavasana. You can be flat. You can bring the soles of the feet together. You can stick your props under the knees. You can stick your props under your feet. You have a blanket under the knees. It'd be lovely. Finding what works for you. Rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Letting the palms slip skyward. Gently closing the eyes if that feels okay. Settling in here, giving yourself permission to fully surrender, to let go of any to-do lists, worries, concerns, and being here with nothing to do, nothing to worry about. Just allowing that breath to move in and out through the nostrils effortlessly. See if you can allow the physical body to become heavier and heavier with each exhalation. Allowing the body to be so heavy that there's an imprint on the earth around it. Creating more space between the eyebrows. Opening and closing the jaw a few times to relax the jaw. And the shoulders relax and draw back just a little bit. Really feel that heart opening up. And with each round of breath, seeing if you can create more space around that heart center. More space for love, to be loved and to love. For kindness, compassion, not just to others, but for yourself. As the mind starts to wander, acknowledge that thought, and then put it on the shelf. Come back to it later. And you can follow that breath in and out. Feeling free to stay here as long as you like. Knowing I'm so grateful for you for showing up. You have a wonderful evening. Namaste.